Welcome back to another How to Country. Today we're going to talk about how to stop weeds from growing in your garden. So there's a few different methods you can use. We're going to talk about a few today. The two main methods are to actually use low-growing understory crops, which we're not going to demonstrate today because it takes a long time for those to grow. And it's going to vary a lot dependent on where you live, what you can grow there, if it's going to work for you. So that's something that you'll have to experiment, but it can be anything from a micro clover that grows really low to the ground, or it could be alyssum, which is a flower, anything to cover the ground. The key is the ground does not like to be bare. It likes to be covered. So two of the ways that we're going to show today is with wood chips and sawdust. So we mix that so we have some different size material because this is really good organic matter as well. We're not planting straight in the sawdust, but we're using it as a cover for the ground so that the ground stays covered. It'll keep moisture in and it'll stop the weeds from growing. You just don't want to bury your plants in it. So another way is using straw. We have straw here, and you don't want to use hay because hay has a lot of weed seeds. But you can use straw, or you can use hay that has been eaten by, maybe you have a pet animal that eats hay, like goats or a horse or something like that. And they usually leave the coarse stems, which there's no seeds in here, weed seeds or grass seeds. So you can use that, and that's what this is, around your plants. The wood chips is going to add more fungal growth to your soil. The straw is going to add a little bit less fungal growth. So dependent on your soil, you'll choose what you want to use. Around here, I'm going to use a little bit of wood chips and then use mainly straw because celery is a high nitrogen food and I don't need so much fungal. I need a little bit more nitrogen. So I'll probably add some alfalfa into here and that will add some nitrogen. And then we'll have these to add some organic matter for the microbes to eat and to keep the weeds down. So how we'll do that is we'll just take our sawdust and put a little between the plants. Just move it around, make it even. Get a little bit more for around here. And then we'll take our straw and we'll kind of pull it apart and just lay it between our plants. And if you had a shredder, or if you even have grass clippings work great for this, as long as they're dry and haven't started to mold. So a lot of times what can happen is you mow your lawn and you take the grass, you put it in a pile, and if you pile it right away while it's still wet, it can sometimes get hot and it'll start to mold inside. And then when you pull it apart, you'll see this white powder everywhere. You don't want that. You want it dry. So if you mow your lawn and it's going into a bag or you rake it up, you want to spread it out a little bit so that it dries out, so that you're not having that compaction and that mold starting to grow inside. But as long as it doesn't have any mold and it's dry, or you can take it straight and spread it nice and thin, then it's not going to have mold at all. The key with this is you don't want to take away oxygen. So I'm going to keep adding all directions just to keep everything covered. But I don't want to press on it. If you press on it too much, or if I use just straight sawdust, which is very fine, I can stop the air from getting through. And it's very important to have good airflow into your soil to keep all your microorganisms nice and happy. And on a later video, we'll actually show you what the microorganisms look like inside the soil. We'll get out the microscope and then you'll be able to see what is actually happening inside in your bed. And then if you see a little bare spot, just top it up with some more more sawdust, wood chips, or some more straw. And as the things keep growing, this will start to break down into the soil. And then you can add some more later if you have other things that, let's say I planted seeds in here. I could take my straw, lay it all out in the bed, and then just pull it apart, just like that, until I see the ground. And then I could take my seedling, plant it in there, or my seeds, and then just leave it open a little bit. And once the plant starts to come up and starts to grow, then I can push it back a little tighter around that area again. So there's some very easy ways that you can keep the weeds down, and it also adds good organic matter into your soil. We have these wood chips we chipped from just garbage wood that was falling down, rotting in the forest, and the sawdust from some wood that we were cutting up, and then the straw was from leftover from animals. You can buy some small square bales if you have a small garden, or a round bale if you have a bigger area. You can get it from maybe some neighbors have some animals and have some leftover straw that they're not using. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time.